Hello, Dustin, and happy holidays. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving and ate yourself full to the brim and watched a lot of good football. It's been a while since I replied, and I realized that I have a problem budgeting time on these videos, so I should waste less time with the introduction and get right to business. In your last video replies, plural, you answered some questions or replied, and then you asked me some questions of your own. So I'm going to address these as quick as possible. I may have to make a second video myself to ask you my questions and reply. So, getting straight to it, you brought up some things in the last video. I took some notes here. You brought up moths during the Industrial Revolution. Would that have been more adaptation or evolution, referring to dark moths and light moths, and production of smoke, steam, various environmental factors in the air? And this is a really great place to expand upon adaptive success and survival of the fittest. So I think really what needs to happen here is an explanation of the difference or the relationship between adaptation and evolution. Adaptation is a mechanism. It is something that we talk about as one of the drivers of evolution itself. So if both species of moths existed prior to the Industrial Revolution, and these moths were competing for the same resources, stuff moth eats, the stuff that the moths eat, maybe they eat the same food. Then, when the environment changed through the balance of environmental success in favor of one versus the other, and then when the situation changed back, so as you were kind of saying, more eco-friendly, more green industrial practices gave way to more success for the light-colored moths, you see that switch back. So this isn't either adaptation or evolution. This is simply demonstrating that environmental factors do have an effect on the fitness of a species of moth. Now, had this continued to go on for a very, very long period of time, what we might see is one species of moth die out and the other one continues on, and the offspring from it take a greater, they take more of the resources, ultimately. Or what you might see is that adaptations actually happen. So there might actually be some sort of evolution that comes along in one or both species of moths, which allow for them to survive in this new environment with smoky air and soot on the ground. So that's that. You also asked what new fossil finds have occurred since Darwin over 150 years ago, and there's been a lot. In fact, I think probably the majority of these transitional fossils have happened in the last 150 years. Now, instead of naming them off right now, I'm just going to link you to three really great videos I found on YouTube. They are here, here, and here. See what I did? That's fun, right? Thank goodness for YouTube and annotations. They make things a lot easier and save me loads and loads of time. I'm at 3.5 minutes now. I've wasted lots of time. You paraphrased Dawkins. You started to describe, he said something to the effect, and I'm not exactly sure what the quote was. I'd like an original source on this. You said that he said that the universe is not designed, but creatures have biological, through biology we see designed features. I don't believe that's a Dawkins quote. I think that he's pretty restrained on his language. That doesn't sound exactly like something he would say. So I'd actually like some sort of citation, or maybe if you could find a source for that, because I think there might be a misunderstanding to what he actually said. All right. You asked about SETI and the search for extraterrestrial life, which is totally rad. Should scientists be looking for signs of intelligent biological systems? I took that to mean just life, look for life. Why or why not? And would intelligently designed life forms, intelligently designed life forms be detectable? All right. My answer is that we should absolutely be looking for life, and in fact, we just did. Other forms of life would offer us the ability to examine their development in comparison to our own. Such examination could reveal a lot about the mechanisms that drive evolution in the first place, and how if we all have a common ancestor, if there's another common ancestor for a whole other tree of life, then it would allow us to understand the scientific process of, or the natural process of evolution itself. It's really great, actually, that our videos are going on right now, because this just happened. Well, something to this effect just happened. NASA just made the humongous declaration that they had found life that that was arsenic based, which is totally cool. And I have a video of it right here. Okay. You asked about molecular machines. And I took this to be like the submolecular components of life, like in a cell. And you asked, do any of these structures in the cell resemble any highly intricate machines developed by humans? How did these structures come to be? Could these be from beyond the reach of evolution? I assume evolutionary theory is what you're getting to there. Do they resemble anything designed by humans? Not exactly. I don't know what that would be compared to. Potentially like data structures in the field of like computer science and evolutionary algorithms. I don't know. But also, I'm not claiming that life is designed, so I don't really get the connection there. Maybe you could explain further in another video. But talking about cellular biology and common ancestry and the origin of cells themselves and life, there's also this really great video, NASA guy who's doing research on origin of life and looking at what we might find on other planets in terms of life, and exactly to the question of like, would they be detectable? You know, like we have a great ability to determine life we know as life as we know it here on Earth, but that might be different under different circumstances, such as a completely another tree of life with a different common ancestor than our own. Testability. What evidence would demonstrate to me that evolution was false? Well, evolution is the copying and passing of genetic information, the selective process of success by a range of life given an environment. So for me to see that evolution was false, I need to see that genetic information is not copied and passed, and that fitness does not drive success of a species. That's pretty simple. And in the end of your video, you asked, what is my definition of evolution? So I didn't type it into a browser and come up with like someone else's definition. Like I came up with my own, because that sounded like what you were asking for. And so here is my definition of evolution. I wrote it out. It is the theory of common descent, that all life on Earth has a common ancestor, that through the process of cellular replication, genetic data is passed on, that genetic mutations produce life with diverse features. Those features can give rise to a particular adaptation to a specific ecological niche or environment, and when the environmental factors change, the fitness of the life contained in it changes as well. So that is my definition of evolution. It could perhaps be tuned, but that's all I have for now. I'm going to end here because I'm at the 8 minutes and 30-second point, and I'm going to go to another video so that I can ask you questions, and also I'll have some other stuff in that, but that's there. So anyway, that's all for now.